I saw the North Tower start to go down, I had to look at my television to confirm what I was seeing with my own eyes.
From the 9/11 Memorial Museum, this is Our City, Our Story, a series where New Yorkers talk about their city, what it means to be a New Yorker, and how September 11th changed that. I'm Jenny Pachuki. In his career as an Academy Award-winning actor and producer, Robert De Niro has made over 90 films, including Taxi Driver, The Godfather Part 2, and Goodfellas. I sat down with this very famous New Yorker to talk about his New York story. Can I start by asking you, you were born and raised in New York, grew up in Greenwich Village, mostly in Little Italy. What are your fondest memories of growing up in New York City?
New York is just a great place to live. I was pretty much a kid that would run around the city a lot, very young, that could probably do things that it would be considered safer to do in those days than now. I used to go to 42nd Street, the Laugh movie at that time, take the subway for a couple of stops from my house when I was very, very young.
So you've lived in a lot of different neighborhoods in the city. What's your favorite neighborhood?
I like Central Park West. I like if you can live on the park, it's great. I like the Upper West Side. I like the Village very much. I'm always partial to the Village. I'm from there. But there's just something about it. It has a quaintness that you can't see, but you see it in Brooklyn a lot. I was shooting all last summer, not this last summer, the summer before, The Intern, and they're such great neighborhoods in Brooklyn. It's really great, terrific.
And I live in Brooklyn now. For now, until the rent goes up,
right,
and then I have to move. But that's just kind of part of the cycle of the city, I think.
Yes.
Robert De Niro has made a lot of films that document New York City at very different times in the city's history. He has seen the city evolve and change. Of course, the biggest change would come on September 11th, 2001.
When 9/11 happened, obviously that was a very dramatic transformation for the city, especially downtown. I was just about to go away out of town for that day, and my flight was canceled, obviously. So I went back downtown. I was in Midtown, and I went downtown, and already checkpoints had been set up in Canal Street and so on. I went through and got home, and I lived about 9 blocks north of the World Trade Center, and I had my television, big screen television to my left, and I had the big picture window right in front of me. And when I saw the North Tower start to go down, I had to look at my television to confirm what I was seeing with my own eyes. It was surreal, unreal. It's just like, and I remember for months after that, the trucks coming out and bringing the debris and stuff up Hudson Street and the dust on it. I think they had to wash it down, or it was totally. It was like the next day on, I think it was Wednesday, the 12th. It was like a war zone. It was just complete. The city was even more than a Sunday morning. Just totally, just silence. Really very strange. De Niro's neighborhood of Tribeca immediately became part of a frozen zone that was essentially shut off to non-residents. Lower Manhattan restaurants and business owners really struggled to stay afloat during this time. De Niro's one of those New Yorkers who felt that he had to do something to help revitalize his neighborhood and bring people back down to Lower Manhattan. His most notable response was his joint effort with producer Jane Rosenthal and real estate financier Craig Hatkoff to start the Tribeca Film Festival. This festival would become a major catalyst for rebuilding downtown. But when 9/11 happened, obviously we thought, well, this would be a way to revive the neighborhood, everything that we wanted to do, and getting people to come down there. We had the family festival, the outdoor screening or screenings, but we had...
Do you feel like it worked?
It did work. Made a decision and an announcement, I think it was about 4 months before we actually did. I could be wrong about that, but I think it was 4 months before. And so we got it up and running. It was 3 days, 3 or 4, and it did. It was successful as far as people turning up, coming there, and so on.
Going back a little bit again, some of your films, you've played a New York City bus driver, you've played a New York City taxi driver, a lot of parts where you've kind of gotten into the lives of everyday New Yorkers, blue-collar New Yorkers.
What have you done to prepare for those roles, and who's influenced you in developing your characters?
Well, I each one was different. So some playing a cop, I went around with police, with detectives, and others. Travis Bickle, I did other things.
You
You
drove a cab for that
I
one.
drove a cab. Yeah,
What was that like?
that was interesting. I drove it for a couple of weeks. You're asked to drive anywhere around the city, so it's kind of interesting.
I asked De Niro, the unabashed New Yorker, what he thinks makes this city so great.
It's just special. I mean, that's why people want to come here. New York is is a different city in a way. It's the city. It's at the forefront of what's new and great and modern, if you will.
I walked away from our conversation with the view of Robert De Niro as a New Yorker who's focused on the future, rebuilding New York, remembering the past, but also moving forward. From the 9/11 Memorial Museum, this is Our City, Our Story. I'm Jenny Pachuki, series host, writer, and producer, with executive producers Michael Frazier and Carl Creco.